everyone, it's Kelly with Kellie and Consulting. I want to talk today about automation in the workplace and what does that look like for the future of work. For some reason, this makes me think about the song, "Our future's so bright, we have to wear shades." I don't know, again, 80s kid, things happen. So the other day, I was standing in a local store, a store that I don't often frequent. The funny thing is, when I'm out shopping a lot, I daydream and I live in my head, which oftentimes is reflected on the expression on my face, which my husband once informed me about and said, well, the reason people don't talk to you is because of the look on your face when you're out in the store. But that aside, that's for a different discussion. I was in line, I looked up, and I noticed that there was one physical cashier, but in the stations where the other cashiers would have been were self-checkout. And it was interesting because people in line, I couldn't figure out why the line wasn't moving and people were hesitant to use the self-checkout. Well, I went ahead and moved forward with the self-checkout machine, and people kind of followed suit and left the store. But it had me thinking, there's a lot of discussion about automation, there's a lot of discussion about AI and different technology in the workforce. And I know that some people are hesitant to talk about it and not really sure what that means. And even for me, I'm not really sure what that means and what the future holds. But what I have seen is really interesting. Do I think that will change the workplace? I do. But I think it'll change the workplace in a lot of positive ways. I want you to think about the ATM machine. The fact that with the ATM machine today, we can do pretty much anything from it. I can make deposits, I can make transfers, I can withdraw money. I don't have to go into the bank physically for much of anything these days, unless I have a question or something very specific that requires more knowledge and attention from that bank teller. ATMs are not anything new. In fact, the first ATM was introduced around the 1970 timeframe in New York City. Now, for those of us out in here in New Mexico, it took a little bit longer. And I remember as a child, the first ATM machines here around the city of Albuquerque, where I lived as a child, they were called Amigo machines. It was funny because even to modern day, my dad, when he was actually still alive, he would always say, and this was in like 2005 and 2006, hey, I have to go to the Amigo. He never called it the ATM. It didn't matter whose ATM it was. He was always going to the Amigo. That's just kind of a funny story and I reminisce. But automation, that was an automation piece and people were worried, oh, it's gonna replace bank tellers. Well, it hasn't replaced bank tellers. It's changed the work that bank tellers do. This was all prompted from an article that I read about Walmart and how Walmart has the intent to automate 65% of their workforce in the next couple of years. So what will that mean? I don't know exactly what that would mean for Walmart, if it means more self-checkout machines, if it means scan and go like they have at their sister store Sam's Club, which I really love, by the way. But it will change what work means for people. What I think is going to be really important for the workforce and for those of you that are running organizations, things that I think are really important to think about is how are you going to upskill or reskill employees into new roles? Because what's really happening, again, is we're able to automate more of the repetitive tasks that people are doing in work, and we're relying on more knowledge workers, more critical thinking and problem solving in the workplace. And so I think it's going to be really important to help skill employees into some of those new roles that are going to require more of that knowledge-based thinking than something that was very scalable and very systemized, like checking someone out at a cash register. So just some interesting things to think about in terms of what automation could look like for the workplace. And this is just a small snippet of what I think is to come. It's really interesting, but I think that many workplaces are going to have to think forward in their strategy a little bit to really understand what that looks like for them and what's that going to look like for their team and how are they going to be able to build that into their team's professional development to help them grow and engage and continue to stay engaged with the organization. So I look forward to hearing from you. Let's chat about it. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Follow me on social media. Those links are in the description below.